let's take a little stock of the pathways of women's cricket in India. And maybe a good way to do that is to have a look at the pathways in India overall. I think everyone on the panel will agree that this is what the pathway for men and boys look like. Almost every city in India, almost every district in India has plenty of cricket academies for boys. From those cricket academies, boys can play club cricket in their districts. They also can play school cricket. So there's plenty of opportunities for school cricket for boys. It's quite prevalent all over India. From these school and club competitions, states will usually pick some under 14 teams, and within the state itself have matches between these under 14 teams. Sometimes there are interstate matches, but mostly within the state, the under 14 level is played. The under 16 level is where the BCCI umbrella really comes in, and players graduate into the BCCI umbrella through tournaments like the Vijay Merchant Trophy, which is an interstate under 16 level tournament for boys. From there, they graduate to the under 19 tournament for boys, like the Cooch Behar Trophy. From there, there is an under 23 level for interstate, and the graduation eventually goes to the senior level, where you can play Ranji Trophy in first class format, Vijay Hazare in the 50 over format, and Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy in the 20 over format. So I think everyone watching will agree that this is the pathway for boys, and most of these steps of the pathway are available pan-India. To look at what the situation is for girls. Across India, girls will go to academies, and most academies, a lot of academies will take girls, although there are some challenges associated with that. From there, it gets a little tricky because school and club cricket really isn't played across the country. There are a few pockets where there is school cricket. There are a few pockets where there is club cricket or district cricket. But for the most part, this step in the pathway is a little bit missing for girls. Similarly, this under 14 stage intrastate matches doesn't really exist for girls. And the difference between the two pathways is that this under 16 BCCI tournament does not exist for girls. The BCCI umbrella starts for women and girls at the under 19 interstate level. From under 19, players can represent their state under the BCCI in the under 23 age group, and from there move into the senior age group. I think everyone here will agree that this is what the pathway looks like. And I'd like to start off the discussion with the current cricketer on the group, and maybe start at the very bottom of the pathway, which is the academy level. And my own experience tells me that academies are not always very women-friendly places. I've always, 90% of the time, played cricket at academies which don't have changing rooms, for example. Boys, they just change in the open, but that's not something that girls are comfortable with. So what happens, and I'd like to bring Sushma in, what happens when a girl sees cricket on TV, gets inspired to play cricket, goes to a local academy? What is her experience like? I'd like to ask you what your experience is like with academies, positive or negative, what experiences you may have heard from other girls, and in your experience, what is a good academy setup look like? Sushma, please come in.
तो मैंने एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया प्राइवेट एकेडमी का पार्ट होना. मैंने बहुत स्टोरीज सुनी है अभी पिछले काफी टाइम से ऐसे प्लेयर्स के साथ. इट्स बीन ऑलमोस्ट 11-12 इयर्स प्लेयर्स को देखते हुए किस तरीके से स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट मेट्रो सिटीज में फिर भी इजीली आई मीन लोगों की सोच वाइड है, बट जिस तरीके से जैसे मैं हिमाचल जैसी जगह से आती हूँ और बहुत ही लोग अभी इतने बोल्ड नहीं है लड़कियों को लेके. स्पेशली आई वॉज ब्लेस्ड कि मैं एक ऐसी एकेडमी की पार्ट थी जो HPCA ने रन की है, और मैं डे 1 से वहीं पर थी. तो मुझे ऐसा कुछ एक्सपीरियंस करने को नहीं मिला, बट जब मैंने भी बहुत बार आउट ऑफ हिमाचल जाके प्रैक्टिस की है, एक बार मैं पुणे गई थी, तो मैंने भी वहां पे स्ट्रगल किया इतने सारे लड़कों के साथ, लड़के ओपनली चेंज कर रहे हैं, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, बट लड़कियों के लिए सेम टाइम पे वहां पर कोई भी फैसिलिटी नहीं है, नो चेंजिंग रूम्स, नो वॉशरूम्स। सो इस तरीके की प्रॉब्लम्स आती है, नॉट जस्ट कि लड़कों के साथ कैसे खेलना है, बट आपको मेंटली भी शायद बहुत कुछ लड़के जिस तरीके से लड़कियों को एक तरीके का आप ये समझो कि वो मेंटली थोड़ा सा रहता है प्रेशर की आप बॉयज के साथ खुल के आप वो आपको अलग तरीके से नेगेटिव आपको ले लेंगे हमेशा। बट चीजें चेंज हो रही है टाइम के साथ। अभी मैंने काफी टाइम से ये भी चेंज देखा है कि अगर जब एक बार मैं जमीमा से बात कर रही थी कि तो हमेशा बॉयज के साथ प्रैक्टिस करती है मुंबई जैसी जगह में, जहाँ पीपल आर वेरी बोल्ड और बच्चे अच्छे स्कूल्स में पढ़ रहे हैं, अच्छी फैमिली से आते हैं, एंड दे आर वेरी एडवांस। सो उस चीज का जेमी मुझे बता रही थी कि इनिशियली उसने भी बहुत स्ट्रगल किया, लेटर ऑन उसने इस चीज को एक्सेप्ट किया कि चीजें ऐसे ही रहने वाली है, और उसको वो टॉन्ट्स वो सारी चीजें झेलनी पड़ेगी, बट एट द सेम टाइम व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट इज हर क्रिकेट प्रैक्टिस। और शायद वही है कि अगर आप आपका फोकस आपका उस तरीके का रहे कि आप पर्टिकुलर हो जाए अपने क्रिकेट को लेके, तो ये सारी चीजें शायद इफेक्ट नहीं करती है, तो मैंने एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया, आई हैव हर्ड अ लॉट ऑफ स्टोरीज, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट। बट जहाँ तक आपने बात कही कि ये चीजें डिफरेंसेस बहुत ज्यादा है, तो बहुत स्लो चेंजेस है, बट जिस तरीके का इंडियन प्लेयर्स में पोटेंशियल है, वी हैव टैलेंट। अभी आप देखो तो अंडर 16 कैटेगरी से बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर्स आ रहे हैं, बट उनको ग्रूम करना, वो किस तरीके से how they will bloom, वो चीजें अभी lacking है, so we need to work on that.
Absolutely right. मैं यहाँ पे like to invite Srinivas also to come in to talk about the first step of the pathway and to give you all a background about something is happening right in Andhra cricket. In Andhra cricket, Andhra have won the under 19 state tournament in 2015-16 and 2017-18. They've been runners up in the senior one day tournament in 2017-18 and 2018-19, and they won. They were runners up in 2018-19 in the under 19 T20. So something is going right in Andhra Pradesh. Srinivas, can you tell us what is the first step of your pathway and how do you bring girls into your pathway, which I'm sure is contributing to your results?
First of all, I'm very pleasure to be a part of this interaction with you all, and especially with Sabha Karim sir and Professor Ratnakar Sethi, who's having the vast experience and being with BCCI for the main reason of development in the cricket. And they are taking care of women cricket also, because so many meetings are seeing them. And at the same time, I have to appreciate your efforts put on for the women cricket. So thank you very much. Actually, once women cricket merged in 2006, so we had a new committee. So they want to develop women cricket along with the men cricket. So 2008, they started a committee, women committees in all 13 districts. We are all of 13 districts. So what they did, they went to the schools who have PETs, women coordinators. They just, it's an honorary job, only just that formal things, like PA, they used to pay, that's all. So they were sent to the rural schools, the women, especially the Jilla Parishad schools and government schools. Because any major city, okay, because the parents who are influenced, who is having that interest in the cricket, that passion about the cricket, already they are bringing the girls. But if you can see the selection process, if there is a district selection for boys, 200 member strength is to come. But whereas when it comes to women, it's about just 10 to 15 members only. Not even we couldn't form a team. So at last we managed like that in the inter-districts. But later on, Mr. Narendra Nath, JKC College, where the Guntur, the Women Academy is located, because they are very passionate to the cricket, he himself being a cricketer, he was the vice president of Andhra Cricket Association. When he was given that responsibility, he is the owner of that college also. So he has given a ground to the ACA, free of cost earlier. Just the ACA used to, Andhra Cricket Association used to maintain the ground. And later on, the next year, they constructed the building for the women so that the women can stay freely. What Sushma told, you told, like they don't have changing rooms, dressing rooms. So all the facilities what men are having, the women also they provided. I am very fortunate to work with Andhra Cricket Association. 2010, an exclusive women academy they started in Guntur Legacy College grounds. It's because of our Narendra sir, late Narendra sir is not now with us, but is visionary, that planning and everything. And later on, okay, because I used to coach, but we need a woman who used to help because so many problems with the women, personal problems will be having maturity and so all these things. So then we brought Purnima Rao, who's having vast experience because she is from Hyderabad. She is local place like us. So we brought her as a consultant. After that, under her guidance, I traveled a lot for 2 years. So our journey started like that. We used to have summer camps in each 13 districts. So
13 districts.
13 districts. So 13 districts, we selected, myself, Purnima Rao traveled all 13 districts. We picked 25 girls because watching their speed, agility, and all those things, like just all the Sai coaches will do.
Yeah.
Who is good? No, just in athleticism. Who is the better there? So small things with the tennis ball throwing. So we started like that. We picked 25 and started giving coaching from the base. Employment through the district coaches, because those who are really working in the district associations, we just given program for them, and we used to every week move. Myself, I used to go one side, and Purnima Rao madam used to go one side. So, and we picked again after 1 month camp, we picked the major talent girls who was really doing with that, and we had a state camp in Guntur. The process went like that. And also the Women Academy, Mithali Raj and Julan Goswami, they have come there to just open that academy. And later on,
It's wonderful to hear that the pathway really starts from the schools.
Yes.
And then with the moves into district and then the states.
Yes.
One point you mentioned here is the fact that you have a residential academy.
Yeah.
I'd quickly like to go back to Sushma, because that I see is a common link between what is happening in Himachal Pradesh and Andhra, and both states have been fairly successful in domestic cricket. If Sushma, you can quickly tell us about the residential academy that you experienced and how it really removed some of those roadblocks for women's cricket. And then I'd like to bring in Professor Shetty and Sabha Karan.
आई थिंक 2006 में जब BCCI में मर्ज हुआ तो उस टाइम पे हमारे पास आई हैव हर्ड दैट आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग क्रिकेट इन 2009 2006 7 8 वी जस्ट हैड 9 players, so it was very difficult कि हम एक टीम भी बिल्ड करें. we didn't have proper 11. So क्या होता था कि ऊना में इंदिरा स्टेडियम में कैंप चल रहा है तो वहाँ पे साथ में मल्टी स्पोर्ट चलते हैं, तो वहाँ पे हैंडबॉल की कुछ लड़कियों को उन्होंने ऐड करके एक टीम बिल्ड कर ली. सो वो टाइम पे शायद 2-3 बार आई मीन वी आर वेरी ग्रेटफुल कि अनुराग सर ने उस टाइम पे वुमेन क्रिकेट का जो भी आई मीन हालत चल रही थी तो उन्होंने ये इनिशिएटिव लिया कि हिमाचल में जो कि इंडिया की फर्स्ट रेजिडेंशियल एकेडमी थी और 2009 में ये एकेडमी खुली है. तो उस टाइम पे आई रिमेम्बर सारे कोई भी प्रोफेशनली किसी ने ट्रेनिंग नहीं ली थी क्रिकेट की. ये जरूर था कि कोई ना कोई स्पोर्ट जरूर खेल रहा था, जैसे मैं भी हैंडबॉल खेल रही थी और वॉलीबॉल खेला था. तो इस तरीके से बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स के लिए वो चीज नई थी कि यार हिमाचल में क्रिकेट शुरू हो रही है, सो लेट्स जस्ट गेट इनटू इट. आई रिमेम्बर आई वाज सिलेक्टेड फॉर हैंडबॉल का जो इंडिया कैंप चल रहा था हमारा ऊना में. तो आई रिमेम्बर यार कुछ लड़कियां ना साइड में, मुझे वो पूरा ग्राउंड फील नहीं हो रहा था कि ये क्रिकेट ग्राउंड है, मुझे लग रहा है कहीं साइड में लड़कियों का कुछ तो मैच चल रहा है. एंड मैंने किसी से जाके पूछा नहीं, एंड आई वाज नॉट इनटू दैट हैंडबॉल वाला कैंप. मेरा ध्यान पूरा क्रिकेट पे था कि ये क्या चल रहा है साइड में, कोई देख नहीं रहा है और कितने से प्लेयर्स है. एंड दैट टाइम वो मल्टी डेज गेम हुआ करती थी जो 2 डे हुआ करते थे. तो वो टाइम मुझे याद है. एंड सडनली जैसे ही एकेडमी 2009 में खुली है, आई रिमेम्बर जब फर्स्ट इंटर डिस्ट्रिक्ट पहले ट्रायल्स हुए हैं, उसके बाद प्लेयर्स आगे सेलेक्ट हुए हैं, पूरी स्टेट का जो ट्रायल रहा है. उस ट्रायल में शायद 120+ गर्ल्स थी और उसमें से हार्डली 6 या 7 लड़कियां जो पहले क्रिकेट खेली थी. सो उस टाइम पे वो सिलेक्शन करना भी मुश्किल था, और ये जानना कि हिमाचल जैसी जगह में जहाँ लोग अभी भी लड़कियों पे शादी का प्रेशर होता है कि 22-23 साल तक आपको शादी करनी है, और उस एज ग्रुप में वहां पे लड़कियां ट्रायल्स देने आई हुई है। तो वो चीज बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग थी जान के कि सब इंथुजियास्टिक थे क्रिकेट खेलने के लिए। 2009 में जब एकेडमी खुली, फिर जाके लास्ट फाइनल 25 गर्ल्स का सिलेक्शन हुआ, और फिर उसके बाद से आई थिंक आज तक सेम सेटअप में आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, पूरा साल आपको रेजिडेंशियल एकेडमी में रहना है, सारे एक्सपेंसेस आपके एचपीसीए बेयर करता है, और आपको सिर्फ अपनी पढ़ाई का देखना है। एट द सेम टाइम स्टडी को भी इतना कंपल्सरी किया है कि बिलो 75% अगर आपके मार्क्स आते हैं, देन you might get out of the academy next season. So that way also, because you never know कि आपका क्रिकेट में future आप कितना आगे किस लेवल पे खेलोगे. Everybody is not going to play for India, or not going to make it big. So that way also setup is very good. I mean we people are blessed. So अभी उसी के results है कि 4-5 of हमारे प्लेयर्स इंडिया इंडिया खेल रहे हैं, 2 प्लेयर्स. तो वो एक जो 2009 की वो एक पहल थी, वो आज रिजल्ट्स प्रोड्यूस कर रही है आई थिंक. और एकेडमी का होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है, बिकॉज आपके पास पहले ही लिमिटेड ग्राउंड्स है. वी जस्ट हैव 3 क्रिकेट ग्राउंड्स, और जिसमें से भी एक ही जगह पे वुमेन क्रिकेट एकेडमी है, या फिर आप ये कहोगे कि कहीं पे भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट एकेडमीज नहीं है. सो इस तरीके से लड़कियों को ये डिसाइड करना मुश्किल हो जाता है कि आप एरिया वाइज, हिमाचल इज सो बिग, सो ट्रैवल करना, आप 10-12 घंटे जर्नी करके आप डेली नहीं आ सकते हो, आपको एक रूम लेके भी रहना है. बट देन अगेन इट्स नॉट इजी, आपको पेरेंट्स को कन्विंस करना है, वो जगह छोड़ के आना है. तो इस तरीके से ये मुश्किल था. बट दैट टाइम वी पीपल वर वेरी ब्लेस्ड कि अनुराग सर का वो इनिशिएटिव आज भी इट्स गिविंग अस, वो बहुत फ्रूटफुल है.
Yeah, we're seeing the results now. Harleen Deol is a product of that system. She's part of the Indian team right now. Sushma, as recently as March, was donning the India blues. ये जो सारा पाथवे है वो शुरू होता है स्कूल से, फिर जाता है डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, और पर वो जो स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट है वो स्कूल है. मैं यहाँ प्रोफेसर शेट्टी को इनवाइट करना चाहती हूँ, बिकॉज प्रोफेसर, यू स्टार्टेड योर इन्वॉल्वमेंट विद क्रिकेट एट द स्कूल एंड कॉलेज लेवल, बट वी आर सीइंग दैट in India, for girls, school cricket does not exist all across the nation. There are maybe only a few places where school cricket is happening, one of which is Mumbai, which you've been very closely involved with. My question to you, Professor, is how can schools be incentivized to field girls teams also? जैसे for example Olympics में एक policy है कि जब तक आप मेंस और वुमेन्स टीम दोनों नहीं फील्ड करते हो, आपको ओलंपिक्स में एंट्री नहीं मिलेगी. हम कोएड स्कूल्स को ऐसे कुछ पॉलिसीज कर सकते हैं क्या कि अगर आप मेंस और बॉयज और गर्ल्स दोनों फील्ड करोगे तो ही आपको एंट्री मिलेगी, या और कोई तरीका है by which schools can field girls teams? I know this comes under the district and state association, but what would your suggestions be for improving school cricket for girls?
Before I start, I think I must congratulate Andhra Cricket Association and Himachal. I think these are 2 state units of BCCI who have really put in a lot of efforts, and one can see the development there. Let me be very honest. I think many of us in the BCCI, because I'm associated in the BCCI, attending the meetings since '96, and almost for about 7-8 years, till Mr. Pawar became the president, I don't think anybody was keen to take women's cricket under BCCI. And although ICC had already made a rule that women's cricket also should be a part of the men's cricket, the cricket board, which has been recognized. Yes. And for some reason or the other, BCCI kept on postponing every year that decision. It was, I think, only because of Mr. Pawar's insistence in 2006 that this happened, and BCCI took this big decision to bring women's cricket under BCCI's wings. Even then, I must tell you, there was a suggestion that why don't we pay WCAI, Women's Cricket Association of India, let them run their cricket so that the association doesn't have any responsibility. This is the background of how women's cricket came into BCCI.
Yes.
And very honestly, I think we are still not in many of the associations where there is no cricketing background, in the sense women's cricket was not actually there for a long time, except Mumbai or Tamil Nadu, UP, Karnataka, Andhra, or Hyderabad. I think these state associations already had some background of cricket, women's cricket, good quality cricket was there. And that difference really did not matter. When they joined BCCI, it was just additional support that the girls started getting. Even in a city like Mumbai, Snehal, you will be surprised that there is not much of support from girls, from the schools where girls study, for participating in cricket tournaments.
Why is that?
I really don't know, because I think, that I just can't explain what their problems would be. But when we took over women's cricket in 2006, the retired cricketers in Mumbai, the girls, they came forward with a suggestion that they would approach the schools. And in fact, many of them divided the work amongst themselves. They went to the schools, they talked to the principals, and started with a tennis ball tournament for such schools to start with. Yeah. So that let them come, let them play, and start get interested in the game of cricket. But still, I think it's a long way when you compare it with boys cricket or the support that you get for age group tournament for the boys. Girls tournaments are still not at the same level as we expect them to. Maybe, I think if you look at the Indian scenario of women's sports, in India, most of the women's sports are all individual sports that parents used to support, and girls took up that sport and they did very well.
Yeah.
Very, very, very few supported, very few parents really supported team sports in that way. And somewhere I think the parents were also not sure as to what was in store or what was in future for their girls if they took up to a game in terms of the future education as well as the jobs. These two uncertainties one has to accept. Of that, I think slowly realization has come that education and sport can go together. So that area is taken care of. But I'm not sure whether there are enough jobs for girls, because the only employer today is the railways.
That's very true.
And I don't know how many years railways would continue to support women's cricket. These are facts that one has to face. And I just feel Sabha is here. So he followed me in BCCI. And I just feel that, the state associations must look at this women's cricket development as a responsibility on them and take interest. Not just 10 or 11 associations, but all the 30, 35 associations which are there. I'm sure if they really take up the responsibility, things will be different in some years to come. So but today it requires our efforts.
So one of my questions is regarding these district and state associations which aren't as proactive as, for example, Mumbai. You have experienced pan-India working with a lot of cricket administrators. What incentive can we create for these state associations or district associations to take women's cricket to the schools? Is there something like that? Because ये आदमी की normal सोच है कि जहाँ मेरा फायदा है मैं वहाँ जाऊँगा. So what incentive can almost be offered for a state or district association to take girls cricket to schools, maybe through tennis ball cricket?
Well, I think it's basically, as I said, that the people who are running these associations, they must understand that women's cricket is as much a part of their activity as men's cricket. Now, men's cricket fortunately started in 1929 under BCCI, and the first meeting of the BCCI records that the importance was given to junior cricket right from day one. Age group tournament, and not only age group, inter-school tournaments and national school championships. that was the time when it started. So I think we have to look at the same angle now for women's cricket also, and make it important. Make them feel that there is a lot of scope for women's cricketers also in the years to come. I think it's the responsibility of people who are at the helm of affairs of the state units, not just the BCCI.
100% agree. And you mentioned the importance of age group cricket, and I'd like to bring in Mr. Sabah Karim here with a little bit of a googly. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. We saw that Pathways diagram shows that BCCI conducts a national under-16 tournament for boys, the Vijay Merchant Trophy. As your previous experience handling women's cricket, can you tell us what the temperature is or was within the BCCI towards a national under-16 tournament for women? And a second question, what your personal opinion is on a national under-16 tournament for women?
Thank you so much, Nehal, for this invite. It's so wonderful and so refreshing to hear inputs of especially Professor Shetty plus Srinivas and a contemporary cricketer like Sushma. Let me try and rephrase my statement here. It's so easy for BCCI to start an under-16 tournament for girls, but that is not the problem. That will never solve the problem, Snehal. And I feel that when Professor Shetty mentioned the role that state cricket associations have to play, if I may put it in a more civilized manner, is that apart from these 10 or 11 state associations like Andhra, who have done some incredible work to promote women cricket in India, the other states have failed to do so. And I don't think it is because of lack of want. It is because of lack of understanding how to grow women cricket in India. Right at the outset, one should understand that boys cricket and girls cricket are separate. So they need to be dealt in a different manner altogether. The way boys cricket or the way men's cricket has taken shape in India, it is a very natural kind of a phenomena because so many boys or so many youngsters are interested in this sport. So the state associations, they haven't had to do any work to get more and more boys into the system. Yeah, it is a very automatic kind of a process. You open an academy, you'll have several hundred boys who will come to your academy, right from a tier 1 town to a tier 3 or even to a village. That does not happen with girls. So I think there has to be a more concerted effort from state associations to reach out to these to different sectors of the society in order to include more and more girls into the system. So the way I look at it, Snehal, there has to be a true two-pronged strategy. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking from BCCI's perspective and also talking from a state perspective. Number one, if I start from top to bottom, so number one is, for instance, if you look at the national team right now, what should be BCCI's aim? First, to improve the quality of the national team, which obviously means that you have to increase the pool of players so that you're able to provide them adequate training, adequate facilities, all kind of support systems, so that we are able to improve the quality of our national team. Number two is how to get more and more girls into the system. And I think that is the biggest issue here in India. And that's why at the beginning I said, to organize an interstate tournament for girls at the under-16 level is very easy. The problem we face for my 3-year stint at BCCI, I tried my level best to convince the state associations to start this under-16 interstate tournament. I think Professor Shetty would be aware of this. Except for maybe North, sir, correct me if I'm wrong, and also South. They used to have this under-16 interstate tournament. But when I spoke with some of the state bodies in South, and South zone is a very active zone for that matter. Yes. They really work very hard. They explained to me and they were able to tell me that even for them it is a big struggle to get girls at that level to play for the state because of lack of want, because of very very few girls come to the system, they are eligible to play under 16. They really have to work very hard to put up a team of 14 or 15 girls. So that is why I think these two are the two-pronged strategy to improve cricket to improve women cricket in India. Number one is right at the top to work on the quality of a national team. And number two is to get more and more girls into the system. And the best way to do it is to have these outreach programs, which Andhra has done in such an incredible manner. They have actually opened a window for all the state bodies. They have to understand that girls cricket have to be treated in a different manner altogether. For that, you need to have a separate kind of an outreach programs to get more and more girls into the system. Once you're able to do so, then you will have a large pool of girls who would be more than happy to get into this sport, and then we'll have a far better system. Once that happens, then it is so easy for BCCI to conduct such tournaments. Why only under 16? You can have an under 14, the way the state associations do it in their own respective zones. That can also be done. But you know, in your that pathway which you had prepared, Snehal, even for boys, there's hardly any school cricket except for maybe Mumbai. If you look around all over the country, basically it is inter-academy matches. There are very few inter-school tournaments that are organized. So from academy, straight away they come to the state and then they have these interstate matches. Right. But for girls, it cannot be like that.
Yeah.
You have to have academy, yes, but more importantly, you have to reach out to schools. I think for girls cricket, it is more important to have this kind of an outreach program through schools. That is how you can develop the academies. And then gradual progress should be there towards to the district and the state level. So that is the way I look at it.
That's very valid points and a very valid two-pronged strategy. If I can just reiterate one concept of the report, is that different but equal was an approach that we said that, you know, is important for women's cricket. And there's an ESPN Cricinfo interview with you where you also mentioned that it needs a different approach, women's cricket. In the school's respect, is there a possibility, based on your previous experience working with the national body, is there a possibility for the national body to work more directly with to create schools cricket and maybe not leave it up to the states? Maybe is there an opportunity to work with organizations like the National Schools Games Federation of India? In your previous experience, what are the opportunities for a national body, because it needs a different approach, to get involved at the school level for girls?
I think it should be done on two levels, Snehal. Yes, BCCI can take that initiative, but I think it would be a wonderful idea to initiate a program like this in association with state governments. And I'm talking about state governments. That's where the School Games Federation of India comes to the picture. Yeah. I remember in my days, in my school days, the first time, sir, when I traveled to the West Indies was for an India side that was played under the banner of SGFI. And all that is over now. I don't know where it stands. But that is one medium where BCCI and the central establishment or the state establishment can work together in a very cohesive manner to try and initiate a program like this. Having said that, I do believe that that the state associations cannot shirk away from their responsibility.
100% agree.
It would be wonderful if state bodies, along with BCCI, can approach the respective state governments to start a program like this. That will be number one. Number two is to have this kind of outreach program on a private basis to all the schools that come under the umbrella. Something which Professor Shetty mentioned when the former women cricketers joined hands to do that for Mumbai. I really don't know why that was discontinued. And I feel that a program like this would really help to promote the growth of women cricket in India.
So to take my moderator hat off for a minute and put in some of my own experience.
Snehal, I'm sorry,
yes,
I'm interrupting you. I missed a very valid point.
Please.
You know, we also need to ensure, and I may have talked about this on separate platforms, and I'm a firm believer in this. And I think Sushma touched upon that point when he talked about academy and the kind of issues with which a girl faces, is that, you know, for boys cricket or for men cricket in India, the entry level is at an early stage, say 8, 9, 10, you know, the boys get into this game and they exit at the age of 35, 38, maybe late 40s or late 30s, if not 40s. All right. And there are no obstacles whatsoever. If you want to play, okay, the parents can send the child to any academy. They can travel 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, you know, come back late in the evening. There are no safety issues. There are no sensitization, so to speak, issues. So it's a very easy passage for them. That is what we need to ensure for girls cricket as well. So the entry level should be at a very young age and the exit should be at a later stage. And we need to ensure that there are no obstacles whatsoever in terms of growth of a girl cricketer. So remove all those obstacles. Travel to an academy, travel to a school, after school practice. gender sensitization of the cricket administrators, of the cricket coaches, so on and so forth. So you remove all those obstacles, it will be very natural for more and more girls to get into the sport.
Absolutely. To just go back and flashback into my early years, I started my cricket under Women's Cricket Association of India, and I played 2 under 16 nationals where there were 20 plus teams across the country. I'd just like to ask Sushma, and because we're seeing the age group of some of the girls who are playing for India right now. Smriti Mandhana debuted at 17. Deepti Sharma debuted at 17. Jemima Rodriguez debuted at 17. Shafali Verma debuted at 15. Sushma, my generation got to play under 16 cricket. Your generation maybe hasn't got to play under 16 cricket. What impact do you think that has on a cricketer? And do you think there are enough girls all across India in this under 16 category that we should have an under 16 national tournament?
I think अभी this is right time कि हम under 16 और ये शायद start होगा जब स्कूल में क्रिकेट स्टार्ट होगी. अभी जैसे सबा सर ने बात कही कि स्टेट एसोसिएशन का इनिशिएटिव है, अगर वो लोग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि अंडर 16 ना खेलने का इम्पैक्ट रहा है. बिकॉज अगर आप अंडर 16 अंडर 14 ये एज कैटेगरी में परफॉर्म कर रहे हो, उस लेवल का प्रेशर और अपनी स्टेट को जिता रहे हो, उसके बाद इंटर जोन मैचेस हो रहे हैं, आप उस लेवल पे परफॉर्म करते हुए अगर प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हो, फिर आप अंडर 19 में बहुत जल्दी मैच्योर हो जाते हो परफॉर्मेंस वाइज. सो लेकिन यहाँ पर वैसे ही वुमेन क्रिकेट के लिए आप अभी शायद पिछले 3-4 सीजन से नंबर ऑफ मैचेस बढ़े हैं. तो अगर आप साल में 4 मैच खेल रहे हो, 5 मैच खेल रहे हो, अगर आप ऐसी स्टेट से खेलते हो जहाँ आपको आपकी स्टेट आपकी पूरी टीम इतना अच्छा नहीं कर रही है बट आपके पास 2-3 अच्छे प्लेयर्स है, वो फिर सफर करते हैं कि उनको आगे 3-4 मैचेस में परफॉर्मेंस निकालना और फिर वो प्रेशर लेना है कि आपको नेक्स्ट लेवल जाना है. तो आई थिंक उसका बहुत इम्पैक्ट रहता है. अगर अंडर 16 एज कैटेगरी से आप परफॉर्मेंस देते हुए आ रहे हो, आप मैच विनिंग परफॉर्मेंसेस खेल रहे हो, आप एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हो विनिंग लूजिंग, सो वो डेफिनेटली आपको बहुत जल्दी मैच्योर कर लेता है बड़े बड़े स्टेज के लिए, बड़े प्लेटफॉर्म के लिए. तो अंडर 16 इंक्लूड करना बहुत दिस इज अ नीड ऑफ आवर, मेरे हिसाब से मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
Yeah, and I am of the school of thought where अगर आप वो tournament create करते हो तो आपको demand आ जाएगा. मगर and this is something that I think a lot of people around the ecosystem are definitely agreeing. So what this means is because BCCI में under 19 से cricket चालू हो जाता है, there is a lot of girls who are playing cricket at the academy level and they straight away get an opportunity at under 19 level. उन लड़कियों का क्या होता है जो अंडर 19 के टीम में फिट नहीं होती है एंड दे कैन नॉट get into the BCCI system and start playing matches. Sushma, very quickly, and maybe Srinivas can come in on this. What opportunities really exist to play cricket for those who don't get selected in their state under 19 team? क्योंकि अगर 50 लड़कियां ट्रायल देती है और 15 सिलेक्ट होती है तो बाकी 35 गर्ल्स क्या करती हैं? सुषमा फर्स्ट.
आई थिंक लास्ट टाइम जब हम मुंबई में मिले थे, शबा सर भी थे, कैप्टन कोच कंक्लेव मीटिंग थी, तो उस टाइम भी ये बात हुई थी कि द प्लेयर्स हु आर नॉट गेटिंग सिलेक्टेड स्पेशली 19 अभी 3-4 सीजन से 23 फिर शुरू हो गया है, फिर उनके पास चांसेस है. अब वैसे ही वुमेन क्रिकेट का पूल बहुत छोटा है. स्पेशली इफ आई टॉक अबाउट हिमाचल, वी जस्ट हैव 30 और 35 गुड प्लेयर्स जो कहीं टीम में फिट बैठते हैं. तो लास्ट सीजन वी वर स्ट्रगलिंग कि 23 वी वर क्वालिफाइंग, सो हमारे पास 8 ही प्लेयर रह रहे थे सीनियर टीम के लिए. सो उस तरीके से जब आपके पास प्लेयर्स का पूल नहीं है देन इट वाज डिफिकल्ट. बट जहाँ पे प्लेयर्स है, जैसे बड़ी सिटीज में बहुत नंबर ऑफ प्लेयर्स है विमेन प्लेयर्स, सो अगर वो सिलेक्ट नहीं होते हैं अंडर 19, फिर आपके पास if you have under 16, under 14 inter school, you have plenty number of matches, chances आपको मिलेंगे, but यहाँ straight away under 19 then आप straight away आप सीनियर्स खेल रहे हो, और शायद अगर सीनियर्स में भी आपको बहुत कम नंबर मैचेस मिलते तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. बहुत एक प्रेशर वाली सिचुएशन है, बहुत कम चांसेस में आपको परफॉर्म करना है. आई थिंक इसके बारे में बात भी की थी लास्ट ईयर हमने. मेरे साथ रिश थी, हम सर से बात कर रहे थे, सबा सर से, कि सर व्हाट अबाउट द प्लेयर्स हु आर अबव 25, they are not getting into whether they should leave cricket, they should continue. एक season वो अगर select नहीं होते हैं तो what else is there for them? And उसके बाद भी there are so many players, women players जो कि because we just have interstate, then interzone, और इंटरजोन भी अभी शायद 2 सीजन से इंटरजोन नहीं हो रहे हैं. स्ट्रेट अवे चैलेंजेस, बिकॉज उस पूल में क्या होता है, बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स है जो अच्छा खेल रहे हैं. देन वी टॉक अबाउट वी डोंट हैव गुड बंच ऑफ प्लेयर्स. बट आई थिंक मुझे लगता है कि अगर बीच में हम इंटरजोन्स और या फिर एज कैटेगरी को इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं तो बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स जो कि अच्छा कर रहे हैं और वो हाईलाइट नहीं होते हैं और पूरा सीजन दे गेट डिमोटिवेटेड बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ मोटिवेशन टू प्ले टू कंटिन्यू द क्रिकेट. सो मुझे लगता है कि ये गैप को हमें फिल करना पड़ेगा, इंट्रोड्यूसिंग अंडर 16, अंडर 14 और मे बी अंडर 23 मोर नंबर ऑफ मैचेस इंटर जोन्स.
सो दैट्स एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट. एंड ये एक्चुअली हमारे रिसर्च ने बताया है और रिपोर्टिंग ने बताया है कि प्री कोविड देयर इज एक्चुअली अ शैडो डोमेस्टिक system being run by the Women's Cricket Association of India, the previous body, who maybe haven't really accepted that times have changed. But girls who aren't selected in the BCCI under-19 teams, state under-19 teams, very often they will go and play there because they just want to play. So मतलब डिमांड है लड़कियों को कि मैचेस हम खेलना चाहते हैं, मगर सप्लाई शायद कम है. And like Sabha has pointed out, this has to be done by the state associations, because right now a lot of states simply call for trials and pick state teams, which is unimaginable in men's cricket. So I'd like to ask Professor, you worked with previous experience with BCCI and states. For example, BCCI has a best state award. Can we maybe incentivize in some way for these states to hold these inter-district tournaments and more matches for women? Maybe they can give more points in that best state award. Maybe in the money that is given to state associations, we can say that if you organize an inter-district tournament for girls with minimum participation of say maybe 200 girls, you will get X amount more in the money that is provided to you. Can such financial incentives be created for states from BCCI to have more and more inter-district matches and have more and more girls playing within the state?
Well, before answering your question, I'll just want to comment on the previous question.
Please.
Of what happens to the girls who are not selected. Now, you must remember, as a BCCI administrator, both Sabha will also agree with me, one of the biggest problems that we faced was that railways. Now, railways employs about 40 to 50 players, but does not release the players, even if they are not picked in the railway team till the last minute.
Yes.
As a result, many of those children or girls lose out an opportunity to play BCCI tournaments for the whole season. And they cannot do anything because they're employed with railways. They can't challenge. Now, we have been trying to have a discussion with railways that why don't you pick your 20 or 25 as early as August and release all the girls so that they can go back to the state associations and play there. Now, what has happened is many of the state associations have made it a rule that they will pick railway girls from railways only if they are available for 2 years minimum.
Oh.
So, the girls are in a stick now. They can't, neither here nor there. And these are girls who are potentially still there with a chance to play for the national team. And unless they play domestic cricket, I don't think they have the opportunity. So this is a dilemma not only at the association level, but the railway versus state problems that comes up every year. Now, answering your question, I think, it's not incentive that works all the time.
Okay.
See, the BCCI structure is such that financially we have made all of them so strong, the state associations, that it's not the money that is the problem. It is the will of the people who run the state units. If Ganga Raju in Andhra Pradesh or Anurag Thakur in Himachal Pradesh can do it, I am sure most of the associations can do it. Now, associations, well-established ones, are doing it on their own.
Correct.
But what is needed is the associations who are still, even for men's cricket, they are lacking.
Yes.
I must admit, there are about half of the associations who are there participating every year, but they have not been able to improve upon their standard.
Yes.
And naturally, therefore, all of them qualify for this in the women's cricket more so.
Yes.
So the problem is that in most of these associations, about 10 or 15 associations which lag behind, there are no women cricketers of the past to come forward and take the lead and organize things. That is the problem. So one thing which the BCCI can do is that allot former cricketers to certain state units as coordinators, ask them to work out a plan at the state level as to how they can improve upon the existing parameters among women's cricketers and do that bit. I think, there has to be a phase. Maharashtra, for example, or Mumbai or Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, doesn't require anything to be done because the system was already there.
Yeah.
And the girls are coming into the system on their own with the limited number of tournaments. So that's what is required. And secondly, for girls, unfortunately, there is not much of local cricket.
Correct.
So once the BCCI tournament is over, for 6-7 months, the girls have nothing.
Correct.
I mean, there is no competitive cricket at local level in any association.
Yes.
Even in Mumbai cricket for that matter. I don't think we have club cricket or academic cricket that takes place from January till the next September. So this is, we have to look at this picture that it's not just the numbers who want to come and play, but we have to create an atmosphere where there is some cricket for them after BCCI cricket is over.
100% agree.
They cannot stagnate for 6-7 months. They don't have fitness. They have no physio trainers available. Facilities are there with the association, but all of them are not staying in the jurisdiction of the association so that they can go there every time. So these are areas where we have to discuss. We have to find a solution and strengthen women's cricket.
So 100% agree, and I'd love to hear Sabha's perspective on this. If, like Professor said, if not the carrot, can it be stick? Now, this is very easy for people like us from outside to say that, if you don't have more competitive cricket outside the BCCI matches for women, you won't get this, you won't get that. आपका ये बंद हो जाएगा, वो बंद हो जाएगा. If not incentive, can it be disincentive? We don't know what the inside of state administration is like, and we rely on your experience to tell us what maybe will prompt state associations to conduct more competitive cricket.
I do agree with Professor Shetty. I mean, he's had immense experience to actually work on this, and he's done some incredible work for BCCI and also for the state bodies. And I'm sure that Professor Shetty would agree that the only way to take it forward is to have proper communication with the state bodies. This so-called financial incentive or trying to, really come hard of them has not worked even for men's cricket. It will not work even for women cricket.
Okay.
One has to understand that. And I feel Professor Shetty is absolutely right, is that we need to have separate committees to look after this. And I'm not only talking about women-oriented committee. What I'm trying to say is that even if you have like-minded individuals, former cricketers, who are willing to devote time and energy to promote the growth of women cricket, you get them on board. Yeah. Have a separate panel for all this in all the state associations and try and work in a very active, in a very constructive manner to take this forward. It is very refreshing to note, Snehal, that the past 2-3 years, BCCI has included about 8 to 9 new states in its fold. And
yes.
Out of those 8 or 9 states, there are about 4 or 5 states, especially from Northeast, who are actively working towards promotion of women cricket in India. More so because the girls from that region, they are far more athletic yes. compared to their to the other girls from other parts of the country. And I think it's so heartening to know that they are doing some great work. So there is a lesson to be learned for all the state bodies from such new states although they are hampered in terms of finance, but on their own, they're working so hard to promote women cricket in India. And I think, out of these 38 active states in India right now, there are about 8 to 9 states who are really working very hard. It is so easy to get the other state bodies to follow that kind of a pattern, what Andhra has done, or what for instance Hyderabad or for instance Tamil Nadu or for instance Karnataka are doing, and they can follow that system in terms of setting up more academies, in terms of having these outreach programs to schools, in terms of having so-called residential academies. Because as I mentioned earlier, the issues that a girl faces in trying to pursue her passion is so different from a boy's perspective. So we need to understand that. That is why I think, personally, I feel that a residential academy for girls is far more important than having a residential academy for boys, because that's where the girls, they need our support, the support of the administrators, to help them remain in the system and try and maximize their potential.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something very important, and I'll just share something on the same lines that, certainly we see that certain players are extremely athletic. And I've got in this slide a bunch of cricketers who are currently representing India and have been match winners at different stages for different at different stages in different tournaments. And very interestingly, if you look at the names on the right of the places that these players come from, most of these places, you wouldn't have heard of these places before you had heard of these players. So what this really tells us is that there is a lot of talent amongst women cricketers and maybe women athletes in general outside of the metros. And like you said, there's a lot of talent coming from the Northeast also. We do know that BCCI had a talent, resource and development wing for boys at one point of time, early 2000s maybe. And that kind of a program discovered talents like the most famous of whom is MS Dhoni, who later on went on to win India a World Cup. I'd like to bring in Srinivas here because you worked a lot outside the metros. Can you tell us what kind of talent you have seen outside these metros, how you discovered it, and most importantly, what the unique challenges are?
Professor Sethi sir and Sabakarik sir, it's very true regarding the financial assistance and those areas. Really, we need to work out, which really helped the Andhra Cricket Association. Like Professor Sethi sir said about Gangaraj sir, who's the one who brought that initiative of financial assistance for the girls. Because most of them, like you said, they're from rural places. They can't afford a costly bat or the equipment. We used to give free of cost the uniform, shoes, and everything from the districts itself. So that's the initiative Mr. Gangaraj sir has taken. And at that time, our director, Mr. M.S.K. Prasad, also, he has also took a very bold step, and he went to Navodaya schools, which are really in the rural places, nearly at the forest areas. Those schools has to be a good playing grounds for them. So we laid a cricket fields there, the association, and we used to give cement wicket because they can't maintain the turf wickets like us in the like in our associations, maybe the metropolitan, and because the rollers and other things, they can't maintain because the skilled workers, they can't get it. And we nominated each coach, like those who know the left-out players. We talked about the left-out players, senior cricketers. After that, there is a huge gap with them. Those who are interested, we made them coaches. We told them the experience to share in that schools. But that senior players also, a few girls, they took that initiative. They traveled nearly 25 to 30 kilometers. And they used to coach daily and used to come back in the evening. They used to stay back in the. But it's certain instant it worked for us. But at the same time, again, studies comes back. Because parents know they want their girls to be well educated and other things. The time they are given just morning 1 hour and the evening 1 hour. After maintaining that 5 years, then most of the players, after 10th class, they used to go to other places for higher studies. Whatever the foundation we laid, that crop couldn't come for the state. Only for the district level only, for the zonal level only, we used to see.
Okay.
Slowly, one by one, we dropped. It has come back. So whatever the efforts put on by the association members, it really really come down again after that. So only thing is that mainly the district associations has to be the responsible. They used to take the initiative. Like we said, we used to go to the schools like women coordinators appointing. So this will really help us. Whatever the best we are able to do, just we are helping as the coaches from there. And we are also thinking about, because most of the girls, they are jobless after playing a certain level of cricket. They are elite players like seniors. So we already put a word to association that if some girls who's really having that educational qualification along with sports quota, because in our associations we have some legendary personalities who's having who's working with corporate companies. They're having the corporate, most of the cricket we have the personalities like that. So request them, at least one or two girls, those who couldn't get into the railways, that only the esteemed organization is giving throughout India jobs is railways.
Yes.
So after that, nothing is left. Those who played for India only, they're getting chances.
Yes.
One or two who went close, according to the discipline, according to their requirement, railways is trying the players, the quality players of the players. Just behind who left out, those are really, the women background is very poor. They come from a poor background. So for that only, we initiative the incentives. Those who played for zone 3,000 per month, we used to give.
Okay.
And after that, for state level, we used to give 4,000 per month. And also free of course that uniforms. Those are really doing good with shoes and other things.
So this is the entire year they will receive this like a stipend.
Yes, like a stipend we used to give, so that they can buy their bags, because it must not be a burden to the parents.
Yes.
Because they can't afford not even a good bat. So this stipend really, somewhat for diet also it helps for them. At least they can come out, they can travel to the ground and they can go back by their own. So these kind of things really worked out, because to increase the bunch of pool of girls.
Yes.
So because from there, little bit we increase the pool of girls. But again, in some areas, because of studies, the culture we have in Andhra also in the rural places, once the girl getting to 18 plus, they get to marry easily.
Yes.
See, they will push hardly there. That influence, automatically the girls who are really interested also, they were forcibly diverted there. And like senior cricketers like Sabakarim sir and Ratnakrishna said, some married who's having vast experience. They are in Australia, you are in UK. See, we are not able to render their services here in Andhra.
Correct.
And as a male coaches, in few areas, we are not able to, like I said, menstrual problems. So many problems are there. Earlier, which I couldn't find out. We used to push them hard times also, because we are off knowledge in that area.
Yes.
In early stages. Later on, our physios, because cricket has become a professional, so already we got committed physios, trainers into it. So they used to help us. This is the way really it worked for Andhra for me. Like under 16 tournament, already you all talked about under 16 tournament. First of all, we have to give credit to Karnataka Cricket Association. 2010, they had the under 16 South Zone Interstate Tournament.
Correct.
From where we won the champions there. From there, we believed also. Until then, we are in the down of the table. In under 19s, if you take seniors also, in the South Zone, we are in the 5th and 6th place out of 16. But once we tasted that winning poster, automatically, slowly, girls believe in themselves that we can do something. After that, continuously 4 to 5 years under 19 champions, because the same under 16 girls came to the 19.
Correct.
So that really helped us. And after that, these girls only came to the, at that time, there is no 23 seniors. Then we qualified, we are in a plate phase. Then we qualified in 2015. We came, qualified to elite group. We became the champions there. In Hyderabad, the finals we played. Right. From then we are not looking back. We are moving forward with the help of all support staff, you can say association. That legacy, what they put on now, present situation, present association also taking forward So I am very fortunate to working with Andhra Cricket Association.
It's quite a few very valid points that you raised, that when Karnataka Cricket Association started an under-16 tournament, chalo, let's play within South Zone.
Yes.
Suddenly the other teams also created these under-16 teams and started playing. And those under-16 teams helped your under-19 and senior programs.
And later on, that legacy Kerala started, and Andhra anyway, we started after that. Every year we hosted all the tournaments, big say tournaments, NCA camps, South Zone camps. So Ratnakar Shetty sir and Sabha Karim knows well about it, because they are given opportunity for us. Whenever we used to ask, sir, we are ready. They given our opportunity to conduct all the tournaments. So I am there lively to watch the matches. That's the way I was grown up. Actually, I used to enjoy cricket, but I'm not a professional earlier stages. Later on, seeing all these things, I grown up. I worked with Sushma Verma also in one of the Indian camp in Guntur in around 2014 something. So yes, I really appreciate all the efforts put on.
Absolutely. And I think what is kind of coming across from this panel is that if that under-16 tournament existed, yes, we would have an even stronger domestic system. We would have an even stronger under-19 system, even stronger maybe Indian team. Especially now we have the context of an under-19 Women's World Cup coming soon. Yes. And in that respect, I'd maybe like to go back to the two administrators on this panel. And if we look at some of the other countries, England have county age group cricket for under 13, under 15, under 17, and under 19. Australia have 3 levels of junior cricket just within the state. And then when you represent the state, you have under 15 and under 18. Then you move into the seniors. Is it possible for India to continue to compete with these other nations if we don't have that under-16 tournament? And I'd like Professor's views on this first, and then maybe Sabha can come in. Professor, you're on mute.
Well, I think there's no problem competing with those countries with the talent that we have, because as it is at the under-19 level, you will find in most of the associations, if you take a track of the participating players, you will find most of them in the age group between under 16 to under 19. And there are enough players who can be nurtured. And as I said earlier, I think Indian senior team, the men's team, whatever it is today, is because of the investment in under-19 and India A. And the same policy has to be adopted by BCCI when it comes to women's cricket. Invest in under-19 and India A if you want to have better prospects of performances, consistent performances of the senior team in the years to come. And that is not difficult. It's only an effort that is required from us. And if everybody realizes the importance, India A has already started. They go on tours and have started playing. I think the same has to be extended to under-19. And there may be most of the girls you'll find will be in the age group 17 to 19. So they will be in preparedness to participate in the Asia Cup or World Cup that comes forth. I don't think it's a problem. It's only identifying those skillful cricketers and promoting them and supporting them. And that's the role that NCA can play for the time being. A very big role for under-19 women's cricket, I think, will be played by NCA.
Sabha, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely right, Snehal. I feel, see, the national policy in terms of under-19 growth and the India A can be the same for women cricket. And I think with the introduction of ICC World Cup for under-19 and women also, I'm sure this will take shape. India A has already taken roots now. I think last year, was it 2019 January, we had a tri-series in which we had invited Bangladesh national side. They played against the India A side. So all that has already started. And the kind of program we have for boys under-19 cricket, similar program can be done for women under-19 cricketers. For instance, we organize these away tours. There are a number of home series in terms of preparation for the under-19 Boys World Cup. So similar thing can be done for girls cricket also. Having said that, I do concur with you that there is an urgent need for under 16 girls cricket to start. But I think the way to take it forward may be different from the way boys cricket is being played at the under 16 level. I feel, maybe Professor Shetty, you may agree with me, is that we do have these zonal conveners. For instance, the way South Zone conducts these under 16 interstate tournament, why can't BCCI mandates that the other zonal conveners also get together and start to organize at the zonal level under 16 interstate cricket tournament for girls, and maybe 1 year down the line or 2 year down the line, then we can have a BCCI umbrella given to this tournament, and we can have interstate or interzonal under 16 tournament the way we conduct for boys. And I think that's the kind of thought and that's the kind of mindset which I think the state bodies and BCCI should have, because for under 19 to grow, it's very important to have a very strong grassroots under 16 cricket. And I think all that all that can easily happen, and we have seen that in some of the states. I come back to another point, which Sushma mentioned. Himachal is one of the most active states in terms of girls cricket as well. Still, she's talking about there are only 30 women cricketers playing. And the problem with BCCI faced, at least during my stint, was that a women cricketer who plays under 16 has to play under 19. She gets to play under 23 and even the seniors. Because of the lack of players coming through the system. So that is one reason why we need to have separate calendars. And that is very difficult to organize, Snehal. For boys cricket is so easy. We don't have to look at the clashes of these tournaments. But for girls, if you start at under 16, which means you need to have a separate window for that, and separate window for under 16, separate window for under 19, for under 23, as well as the seniors. And that becomes very difficult. So I think it has to be, a cohesive effort, which ensures, yes, the number of tournaments should go up in terms of under 16, but also it's very important to have, a regular stream of girl cricketers coming through the system.
Yeah, I absolutely agree and fully appreciate that scheduling tournaments in a country as vast as India is a huge challenge. And
also now, Snehal, you have 38 state teams.
Yeah. And must appreciate that it is being done almost in the background without, like a wicket keeper, we don't notice it until something goes wrong. And the fact is that we don't notice domestic cricket, which means a lot is going right on that front. And would love to see your suggestion of an under 16 tournament start in every zone. One other point that Srinivas really mentioned is the fact that the Andhra Cricket Association successfully used financial incentives, financial stipends to keep cricketers in the game. And Sushma has touched on this with her employment with Punjab Police. Professor mentioned on this that even though railways are the only company providing employment, that comes with its own set of challenges. So to create more revenue opportunities or to create more financial viability for women and girls in the system, one of the things that has been discussed, okay, maybe we'll get to that a little later, but just very quickly from you, Sabha, or maybe I'll ask Professor first and come to Sabha afterwards. Professor, to create more jobs, what can be done at the national level to make women's cricket more attractive? For example, there is in men's cricket a corporate trophy, and we know that because the corporate trophy exists, many companies employ teams.
Not anymore, Snehal.
I think, Snehal, we did start with the corporate trophy, and after 3 or 4 seasons, we stopped it because it was really not giving us the returns what we were looking for.
Okay.
The idea of starting corporate trophy was to generate employment. Now let us look at the fact, which cannot be hidden, that there are no jobs even for men's cricket. There is, it's a myth today that if people say that you can get a job. Now there are, except for public sector undertakings where openings may come up in some years, but even for men's cricket, jobs are not there. People are playing as on contract or on professionals for the sake of the tournament. Loopholes are found as to keep them on the roll. But actually, there are no jobs today, even for men's cricket, and it's a serious problem.
But women's cricket doesn't even have contracts.
Absolutely. And therefore, I don't know how one looks at creating jobs for women's cricketers, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because in Indian scenario for Indian sports, unless the government of India goes back to its earlier decision of 2% of the jobs being kept for sports persons in banks and public sector undertakings, I don't think there is any solution to this problem. No private sector today would employ a cricketer or, for that matter, a sportsman just to be on the payroll without working. Because those luxuries are all gone with this competitive thing that has come into corporates. And therefore, it's a challenge for everybody. And the only thing is that, the better off among the girls and boys will sustain because there is IPL, there is domestic cricket. So if you have a good package for payment for domestic cricket, I think it will sustain the interest among the players to continue to participate in the game. And that's I don't think jobs is a solution that you're looking at right now. It's a difficult
it is a very complicated issue, and we will continue to have dialogue on this issue to see as to whether we can arrive at it. One thing you mentioned, which I would now like to put to Sabha, you mentioned that the IPL is almost this kind of a source where a lot of domestic cricketers can get some kind of financial support besides the other benefits of being a bridge between international and domestic cricket and giving exposure because you're sharing the dressing room with internationals, etc. We've seen Shafali Verma benefit from the T20 challenge, and we're hoping to see a full-fledged women's IPL very soon. Sabha, you have recently joined one of the IPL franchises as a talent scout there. And again, we hear so many outsider perspectives, but very rarely get to hear an insider perspective. What is the temperature with maybe the possible idea of something like, not restricted to your franchise, but something like a Delhi Capitals women's team? And what are the roadblocks for a full-fledged women's IPL, not just with your IPL experience, but also your BCCI experience?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't had much time with the owners, but I think they'll be more than happy to include a women IPL. I don't see any roadblocks whatsoever, but I think it's more important that BCCI, puts in a structure that is that becomes more feasible for the franchisee owners to accept it. For instance, when we started, I think 3 years ago or 2 years ago, when we had an exhibition women IPL game, only 2 teams they played. And immediately the subsequent year, we increased the number of teams to 3. So it seems that the number of players coming through the system in terms of talent, in terms of potential, is growing up. In terms of quality, it is growing up, and all that is so heartening to see. So right now we have three teams that participate. Although it is good to see that there's so many cricketers who get an opportunity. But now to increase it to about 8 teams, that may not be so easy. So maybe gradually one can increase it. But eventually we need to look at having women IPL, a full-fledged women IPL on just like men's IPL. And for that to happen, there has to be a constructive policy from BCCI as well as the franchisee owners. So I'll come back to that point which Professor Shetty has raised about finance and career aspirations.
Yes,
I feel the best way of doing it is to have central and state contracts. It has not taken place even for men's cricket at the state level. There has been some discussion about it, and I don't know why it has not taken shape. But I think boys also face similar problem. It's just that the money they receive in playing domestic cricket is slightly more than women cricket. Maybe
Yes.
there can be some kind of a parity there so that it becomes more attractive for the girls to take up the sport. But I think eventually the kind of policy which Andhra Cricket Association has done for promoting women cricket in Andhra, similar kind of policy can be followed by other state bodies. On top of that, they can also have this contract system even for state cricketers, so that more and more cricketers get attached to the sport. I come back to one more point here, and my apologies if I'm digressing.
Please go ahead.
But you see, even at the top level, even at the national level, for instance, and correct me if I'm wrong, do we have any married women cricketer playing first-class cricket or in the national team? If my memory corrects me, I don't know anyone.
That's true. There are very few.
There are very few. Why is that so?
Yes, it is one of the social barriers that we recognize.
Yeah, social barriers. So what can BCCI or a state body do to remove such barriers? Can we introduce a maternal leave? Can we have better communication with the family, so that that individual is not left out of the system? BCCI can always do that, whether it is BCCI or state body. If we work together, I'm sure you can bring a policy like this, so that as I spoke earlier, that more and more cricketers then can remain in the fold of BCCI, which will eventually help the growth of cricket.
That's absolutely right. That's one of the items that we really acknowledged in our Equal You report, that this social barriers to entry, like Srinivas has experienced and Sushma has experienced. For the last word, I'll come back once again to the current cricketer on this group. Sushma, we have maybe about 30 to 60 seconds of time left on this panel, and I really don't want to impose on anyone beyond the time that we've asked for. Sushma, if I could ask you what your wish list was for Indian cricket, just if you had a magic wand और आपको जो मांगे वो मिल जाता, तो आप क्या मांगती?
I think first, दो अभी मेंस क्रिकेट के लिए भी स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है, स्टेट सेंट्रल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, और सेकंड हमारी डेज क्रिकेट डेज, आई मीन 4 डे 3 डे हम और इंटर जोनल में भी हम उस तरीके का मैचेस खेल पाते, और of course under 16 and inter school cricket. Yeah.
Wonderful. So much to do, so little time.
I'm surprised, Nehal. I thought Sushma would say, I want to get back to the Indian side.
That's my individual wish. I mean, I'm here to talk about
all the best.
सबके perspectives से. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the perspectives that everyone has brought on board. Thank you so much for a fruitful discussion. There are some solutions that we have seen, some matters that we have acknowledged that require more discussion, more work. The Equal You project will continue to have dialogue on this and take action on these matters and try and complement the administration and the existing structures as best as we can for the growth of women's cricket. On behalf of everyone here at the SLPC Symposium and the Equal You project, I once again thank all our panelists. Thank you, Sushma. Thank you, Srinivas. Thank you, Professor Shetty. And thank you, Sabah Karim, for your time and your expertise. And I now hand it back to our moderators.
Thank you, Snehal, and all of you in the panel.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone on the panel for taking your time off and joining us today. I think we've learned plenty, and we thank you for your insightful comments.